Hello Spider Peeps. Okay, it's strange AliExpress Zigbee devices to look at again. This is a soil moisture sensor. Comes in a nice box, it's quite long, it's a connected home plant monitor. Why would we want to monitor a plant in our home? I don't know, let's come to that in a bit. It's a ZG303Z. We'll see whether it really is one of those in a second. Okay, this is a moisture sensor for plants. It doesn't have a safety catch, so it looks like I'm going to have to go and find two AAs, or indeed AAAs. I really could have planned that better, couldn't I? Okay, which way does it go in? It doesn't say. I like stuff that uses AAAs, but also never sure how long they're going to last. But they are the pawn of batteries, as opposed to 2032s being the queen of batteries. I think that's probably right. Looking at springy bit and flat bit. Yeah, all right. So, and when I plug that in, it's flashing. Right, okay. So, I think the idea of this is we stick it in our soil next to our plants and we can see whether it's moist or not. I wonder what people really use these for. Anyway, let's not go into that because I'm not that sort of channel. I have the sort of plant here that is probably not the sort of plant that it's intended for. This is SpiderMaf's spider plant. And as you can see, the spider family isn't very good at looking after spider plants. So maybe this will be good. Maybe you can set an alert off on this when it needs watering. Let's see. Okay, just looking at this, this was just about under £4 to get, or that's the price that's quoted now. All right, £4.96. Which Zigbee shall I use? By the way, I sorted out the issue I had on my video a couple of weeks ago. I posted a video where I'd got my Zigbee IR blaster in here, and I put it on my new Zigbee for MQQT network. And it wasn't registering in here. I got around that by just registering a smart socket on the new network. So this over here is a smart socket. It's not being used as a smart socket, but it's literally at the moment just being used as a repeater. Seemed that that was all I needed to do to get enough signal boost into the cave for it to work. So obviously things that are plugged in permanently and have a permanent power supply, not batteries, they act as a repeater, I think, or at least they can act as a repeater. And of course, that means they've got a much more stronger signal on my mesh network. So yeah, that's working now. So I don't know which network to put this on. Let's see if we can try it on both and see whether it appears any different, eh? So let's go to settings and devices, add device. Let's just add a simple Zigbee device to start with, the original Zigbee home automation device. Let's turn that on. That's good. Starting interview. It must be the soil sensor. That's good. This is flashing. I don't know whether you can see that flashing there. Someone else pointed out in a previous video I hadn't been patient with this. I think it had been sitting there for so long I thought it had crashed. And that might be why my IR sensor wasn't working. But I think I did actually connect to it, but it just wouldn't fire when I connected to it. So yeah, I don't know. However, I'll have patience now while it's doing this. Bit of spider patience. It's interesting this is compared to the rain sensor that I looked at in a previous video, because it looks like we've got the conformal coating that sits over there. So you can't see any bare metal really. Though you can see the edge of the board, but then the edge of the board is probably, it's sort of fiberglass and resin, isn't it, or paper and resin, so that's going to be quite tough. But we can't see anything that might corrode on this lowest line. Come on, so this is the TS0601. Is that what it says on the box? No. ZG303Z. Oh well, let's see. So it's ready to use. We don't really know what it is. I mean, I assume it's this. Is this what it is? Let's just call it ZHA soil sense. Okay, so T200 definitely says ZG303 on there. Bug 3. Right, this device is ready to use. Cave. humidity temperature. Okay, humidity is showing naught, so maybe that's how it, I mean, humidity is going to be water, isn't it? What happens if I try and warm it up? Okay, so humidity has now gone up, and that's gone up. So it is this sensor, and as usual, it's hot in the cave. So it's showing us 68 in the cave, which is probably what my humidity is at the moment. So if I pop that in there, you know, I'm not going to do that. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let's delete this, reconfigure, remove that, remove it again, and let's add it again onto Zigbee for Mosquito and see whether that works better or it gives us more information about it. Open Web UI. See, we've got a square socket on there, which is what I've got in here, and that's good, reasonable signal strength. There's no reset button on this, so let's just assume when we unplug it, it resets. See whether this starts to go again. How do I reset this? There isn't a button on it. Soil monitor sensor. Oh, long press on this. So there is a long, that's the button, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's not a button. Oh. No. Ah, you push it really hard, it works. Right. There we go. So that is a button there, and we've got something popping up. Right, so this is now on Zigbee 2 MQQT. Let's see what device this appears as. I mean, it shouldn't be more than a temperature and a humidity sensor anyway, really, if it's sensing the humidity of the soil. It's all about whether I can get it into my soil. So you see, at least I can now use this in the cave. I don't have to run into the other room next to my new Zigbee interface on my Home Assistant, so that's good. No, it hasn't worked. Not supported, generated. How to add support. Right, okay, so this is interesting because it's the first thing after everybody said more stuff is supported on Zigbee for MQTT. This isn't supported. Right, how ironic is this? I didn't know this. I thought we were going to get better results from this side, but okay, I'll just put it back on the other network and let's just see whether we can get it to actually work for what nature intended it for. Okay, connected again. That's all right. Now I've got to decide whether I show you that side quest. Maybe I won't show all of it. So while that's working, let's pop this in here if I can find a slightly good place to put it. There you go. No one had guessed that we now had a smart spider plant. Look at that. Lovely. So I'm going to call it Smart Spider. Oh, it's the little things plant area. Kitchen, which is where this lives. Okay, so we've still not got, whoops, we're in the way. We've still not got humidity coming through, but we've definitely got a ping of the temperature now. So look at the temperature, it's flown up there. It's not as hot as it has been, but still 30 in the cave, which is a bit of a sauna. So let's do the whole scientific thing. I love using this bottle. It's not at all scientific, but it makes me think it is. And especially as there's a hose pipe ban at the moment, it's very satisfying using some water that I poured in the winter. So I'm just going to moisture up little Spidey and see whether this works. That's definitely a bit more moist.
You need anything dampened or made soggy?
People don't like that word, do they?
It's not a no.
Are we getting any reaction whatsoever? Okay, I've had this on for a bit. Humidity is still 0. Temperature 26.5 because I had that sitting in the kitchen, so I don't think this is working. All right, so remember at the start of it when we looked at the box, it said it was a ZG303Z, and yet this is showing as a TS0601 on here. So I've done a bit of research and it seems that the manufacturer here, TZE200 plus this pajama bug is the manufacturer code, and what we need to do is add a quirk. So it seems like these soil sensors, there are loads of different ones out there, which normally it will sense and react to properly, but this is made by a different manufacturer, so I have to install a quirk. All right, so I've got no idea whether this is going to work. I have installed a quirk. If I go to File Editor, what I had to do is look at my configuration YAML. This has got a lot of stuff about my electricity sensor, but right at the bottom here, I had to install this ZHA settings, which said enables quirks, and I had to create a quirks directory and put a quirk in it. Okay, so it said create a config directory, but I didn't need to do that because Home Assistant is already the config directory. So in here, I've created this custom ZHA quirks folder, and then in that, this npjbug file. This is the code, and you see that somehow opens up all of the different methods that it will show. There's a separate humidity and temperature, but then there's a soil moisture. So I think that's probably what we need. I mean, we want to see whether the soil is moist, don't we? So we go to settings and developer tools, and we just check the config. So that's just to make sure that I've not messed anything up with that main config file, and it says it's okay. So let's hit restart and see what happens. Load new YAML configurations. Let's see whether that works. And I think then I've got to pair it again because it's still paired, thinking it's just a temperature humidity sensor. So has that restarted yet? Well, looks like I've got some updates to do. Probably find if I ran those updates, it would fix it anyway. Go into the Spider plant, go to reconfigure and remove that. Pair it again. Oh no, I've started 2 now. That'll do it. Zigbee repeater. Okay, I don't want that. TS0601. Hey, right, okay, so let's not worry about the Zigbee repeater bit. So this is a smart spider plant. That was what we had before. So let's change that again to kitchen. If we go into the kitchen, have we got any extra things? No, we've still got temperature and humidity. Oh. All right, I'm going to remove it and start over again. Okay, I've got a bit further. Just, you'll have to excuse me. I'm printing something out in the cave. So if my audio's gone a bit weird, that's because I'm noise cancelling. So I think I've got it working. Mostly. So you see with humidity and soil moisture are 0, but we've got a temperature, but apparently there's been a pull request put on Zigbee Home Automation to work with this sensor. Now I scanned this little QR code on it, and that QR code gives you the exact model of this sensor and the firmware, which is interesting. But watch this. Look, as I've just messed about with that, that's gone up to 65% humidity. But if I drop this in here, both of them have instantly gone to 100%. So it looks like these are wired the same way, wired to the same sensor inside maybe, apart from the fact that it was different. Did you see? They changed at different times. So I think I've got to change my quirk slightly based on the quirk which is in the pull request. So I've just updated that. And what I'm going to do is restart Home Assistant again, which will do a complete restart, which hopefully will pick up the new quirk, although I will have to disconnect this and reconnect it again, and then we'll see what happens. So back in 2 more minutes. Okay, that's restarted. It's definitely doing something. I've now got 2 humidity sensors, although one is showing as unknown. They all look as if they're turned off. So let's do what we were supposed to do. Let's remove that and add it again. We're going to know how to do this at the end of this video, aren't we? Well, it's definitely doing something. Let's push it to wake it up to send a reading across again. We've now got a humidity of 67, another humidity of 0, and a soil moisture of 0. Let's send it again. Is it doing anything? Still no. Okay, let's try the shock test. Humidity 67. It's hot in the cave. Soil moisture 100%. It's working. Although that humidity up there has gone to 100%. So this must be air humidity and soil moisture and this humidity are linked. But There we go. Phew. I originally intended to do a video about 3 different Zigbee devices here, so you'll have to subscribe to see the others. This one's taken so long and was way more interesting than I thought it was. So what have we learned? We've learned how to do quirks. We've learned that we can check the GitHub pulls for Zigbee home automation and get some details off those to see if some of these devices are waiting to be pulled into their proper Zigbee build. Learned a lot of things, and that maybe this would have a use if you really needed to monitor the water content of your spider plant. Bye! Right, you're now really going in the kitchen. Well done, you've got to the very end of the video. If you actually stayed around for this, thank you. I hope you've also liked and subscribed as well. But that's not why we're here. I'm going to give you a little bit of a reward. This hasn't worked. Alright, so I've just edited all of this, ready to upload. And look what's going on here. The soil moisture is at 0, even though I wet the soil. And this has been working now for ages. And the humidity is back to 0 again. Although that's probably, 60 is probably the kitchen humidity. It's later in the night now, so the temperature's gone down. So I really don't know. This isn't necessarily a smart spider plant, is it? I think the best thing to do is, if you want to buy one of these, just wait a few months until the proper software for it gets put into Home Assistant. So there you go, a reward for the most faithful spider peeps staying to the very bitter end. Well done.